But I want to read you the Supreme Court case, a quote from Galt. And in Galt, they said, the juvenile needs the assistance of counsel to cope with problems of law, to make skilled inquiry into the facts, to insist upon regularity of the proceedings, and to ascertain whether he has a defense, and to prepare and submit it. The child requires the guiding hand of counsel at every step in the proceedings against him. My colleague, Senator Scheer, missed some of the discussion about the fact that judges can charge or use any remedy available to them for any case. So if a child has a beer and they decide to charge him, yes, they can put him out of home for that. The mere risk that a child would be taken out of their home for whatever a judge decides is not worth the risk that they are not represented by an attorney. If you think that children should maneuver the entire criminal justice system without an attorney, I ask which one of you would be willing to maneuver the criminal justice system without an attorney? If you do that, I don't think you're very wise. I would not go into the justice system without an attorney, and I'm an attorney. It's very important to understand the process, the procedures, what's happening. And here we have a case we have an entire notebook. This is the entire report that the legislature funded in 2008, and the report came out in 2009 with their core recommendation of juveniles having way more access. May I ask Senator Friesen a question?
Senator Friesen for a question.
You may.
Senator Friesen, do you think it's appropriate that the kids in Omaha, because of where they live, have counsel, and the kids in your district don't automatically have a right to counsel?
I guess that doesn't bother me a lot, no.
Okay, why does that not bother you?
I guess it's probably because things are done differently in different counties, and I don't see the issue, I guess, that maybe they have in Omaha. So I bet in our area, I just don't think it's called for to have an attorney.
Thank you, Senator Friesen. Have you heard of cases where someone is not represented appropriately? How do you think that the child has representation? Is the judge just supposed to tell them what they're supposed to do?
1 minute.
Well, I think the parents have a responsibility there also. And
the parents often have a different interest than the child. And that's why the Supreme Court of the United States has given children and stated that children are to have a right to counsel. We're not arguing whether they should have it or not. We're arguing about making sure that it's happening, and it's not happening across the state. Please look at what I just passed out. Judicial District 7, 35% of the kids have an attorney. Judicial District 4, which is Douglas County, they have a right to an attorney 94% of the time. And that's not just because every single kid in Omaha is so much worse than every single kid in District 7. It's just not true. Kids are getting charged with a wide range of infractions and felonies and all sorts of different charges, just like in Omaha. We're across the state. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator Pansing-Brooks and Senator Friesen. Senator Friesen, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. I guess the first thing I want to clear up here is the misconception that counties have contacted me or anyone else here. I don't think I am the one that requested the information. The counties have not approached me in any way and opposed this or supported it, either one. There's been no contact whatsoever in that respect. I just made an inquisition, I guess, into some data, and so that was my request, and that's what I'm using. It didn't have anything to do with the counties, the county attorneys, or anything else. I guess from my standpoint, I look at it like for some of these minor offenses that do not have lasting consequences for children, and if you want to get really personal, I have navigated the juvenile justice system by myself. It was a learning experience. We can leave it at that. But for those consequences that are not lasting, I fail to see why we would require an attorney. You're right. When we're talking consequences or things where a juvenile could have lasting effect on their ability to do things, I wouldn't argue that they should be represented. But in the end, also, there are parents who should be able to make that choice if they're able to. And for those who don't have parents who care, I guess I have the best interest of my child in mind, and it just depends on the situation. It would be my decision, it should be, whether or not he should have an attorney at that time, I think. There are cases, I'm sure, where a judge could rule otherwise. But I am looking out for the best interest of my children, and I think that's something we have lost. We have parents who are not, but they could be held accountable in different ways. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator Friesen. Senator Chambers, you are recognized.
Thank you. Mr. President, why in the world would the state constitution mandate that there be a public education system? Why shouldn't parents take care of it themselves? They're too dumb. And I'm listening to what's being said right here, right now. There are people who can take care of their children, who can look out for their children. There's an expression in loco parentis where somebody who is connected with the government stands in the place of a parent because the parents are not doing for those children what ought to be done. You all know this. I don't think there's anything I can say to make change your mind. If you don't care about your children now, you're not going to care based on anything I say. Senator Groney talks to a judge or some judges where he lives, and he extrapolates and applies it to every judge in the state. They all take care of these children. They all want the best for them. They're not going to do this. They're not going to do that. He didn't talk to anybody or conduct any survey. Shows the attitude when he talks to those people, what he shows here. They'll just say what they think he wants to hear because he's not going to explore or examine anything. That's the way it is on this floor. I watch what you all do here. You don't know what the law is. And it's not the offense. It's the courtroom, the environment of the courtroom, the pressure that it puts on even grown people when they have a very minor charge against them. Courts are not friendly places. Judges know it, prosecutors know it, everybody knows it. Talk to anybody who has to go to court. But you don't care. And a child is not supposed to feel adrift and alone and threatened in a situation where you all do. As big and as old and as sinful as you've been. And you don't want to confront that, but let the child go. I can't understand you all. I thought y'all were the master race, and I could learn something by coming down here and functioning around all these white people. Learn how to treat children. Learn how to protect children. Learn how to do those things that I read about in grade school. And in the books I read, everybody was white. And white people only did good things.